There's a lot of toy product out there that is referred to as timeless or evergreen. That's the industry term for it, meaning toys that are always sold, no matter what decade it is. Things like, Fisher-Price air blower vacuums, or that 1950s kit that came with real uranium for children to create a nuclear reactor in their basement. That really happened. Well, today I want to talk about an interesting universal evergreen toy, and that is slime. Yeah, we all love slime, right? I mean, it's tactile, it's gooey, it's creepy, it's fun to touch, it's fun to dump on top of celebrities. I mean, slime has kind of become part of pop culture. It has moved beyond just a play thing and has really become a cultural artifact. And nowadays, you can make your own slime. It's actually a trend that started kind of right before the pandemic of kids running out to buy, all sorts of items at the food store and turning into slime, like glue and borax and stuff like that. The story of slime, though, is interesting because it was actually invented and copyrighted by Mattel. We think of slime as this sort of universal toy, right? That any company could make, anyone can produce, and, there's tons of kits to make slime using Elmer's glue. Well, obviously the name slime has expired and it's now no longer owned by Mattel, but the original formula for creating slime and its original launch was something that Mattel did in the 1970s. It was actually created accidentally, but once it was, well, the toy inventors at the El Segundo building said, well, what can we do with this? And in the 1970s, Mattel sold slime in lots of ways. They sold it simply as a compound of kind of what you would consider today a fidget toy, something to just play with. They also applied it to all sorts of different play patterns, one of the most infamous being their board game line, where a monster that would drip slime on the play pieces was the sort of aggressor as you moved around the board. Other things like worms and inclusions with dolls. They knew they had something really cool on their hands. They just weren't sure what to do with it or exactly what the play pattern was. It was clearly fun and kids liked it, but beyond making worms and dripping slimy goo on players that moved around on a board game, there wasn't much else that was going on with slime in the 70s. It was very much a passing fad. In the 80s, it got a new life, being included in things like Mad Scientists, dissecting kits, using it as alien blood goo. It was, pretty universal. And once Mattel started thinking outside of the slime box and coming up with new uses in the 80s, well, slime just started becoming more and more popular. They even included it in things like Barbie and brands that weren't normally associated with goo and tactile, kind of fidgety aspects. But again, Mattel knew they had something big on their hands. They knew that it was universally liked by boys and girls, which is not an easy thing to do because boys and girls have very different brains that function differently, which is why girls are attracted to different play than boys are. All right, so with Mattel owning slime, that means that every other company out there that is making something like it can't call it slime, which is why slime would become the generic term, but a product called goo or sludge, or in the Ninja Turtles, it was mutagen, right? Not mutagen ooze, not slime, because slime was owned by Mattel. Now, the most infamous toy that Mattel made slime for, of course, was the Slime Pit, the Masters of the Universe toy in the mid-80s, one of my favorite toys of all time, which was quickly taken away from me after the slime got out of my control. Did that happen to anyone else? I mean, a lot of us treasured the slime that came with the Slime Pit and were warned by our parents to make sure and keep this on the tabletop at all times. The last thing you wanted was slime dripping onto the carpet because then it was going to destroy it. And I was very careful with it. One day I woke up, though, and there was a slime stain on our carpet. I knew I didn't do it. I swear to this day it was either my sister or one of her friends or one of my friends because I was so careful. But slime did get on my carpet, and my parents took my slime pit away. Well, they took the slime part away. It's like having the monster game, but not having, the slime. You need this to actually make the slime pit work. So popular that Mattel even reissued this in their Harry Potter line during the first movie, almost taking the exact tool and re-Harry Potterizing it, if you will. Yeah, you can definitely see the similarities between Harry Potter and Masters of the Universe slime pits. While it's something that started off in He-Man, it was quickly used for other brands. Now, I talked about slime in a previous video about how it really did save the Masters of the Universe brand in the 80s because this SKU alone was one of the best sellers. In fact, it became such a huge seller for Mattel that they offered slime refill packs for the kit, letting you, if you happened to lose or it went onto your carpet, you could now get new slime. All right, and so that's the issue to talk about today is what was happening when slime was dripping onto people's carpets, like what happened to me. Again, I swear it was not me. It was someone else, my sister, her friends, one of my friends. I was so careful. But yeah, today we kind of know how to get slime out of carpets. There's tons of videos on YouTube on how to do this. Everything from ice cubes to peanut butter to magic spells. Back in the 80s, though, not so much. We didn't have that newfangled thing called the internets. And when slime from the slime pit wound up on your parents' carpet, well, Mattel didn't advertise this. But you could call Mattel up, and they actually became, for about 3 years, one of America's largest carpet installers. You're like, wait, what? Mattel was a carpet installer? Yeah, that's right. They didn't promote this at all. And in kind of one of my last few months at Mattel, when I was there between 2005 and 2014, I'd talked to one of the brand managers, the old-timey guys, and he was like, oh my God, the cost of the carpet. We didn't tell anyone about this, but oh my God, we spent millions of dollars replacing carpet all around the country. Basically, if you got slime on your carpet and you called Mattel, again, they didn't advertise this, but they would come replace your entire carpet for free. You just had to ask. Wish my parents knew about that. Then I might have gotten to still play with my slime kit. Ugh, still upset about that. So much childhood play lost. But yeah, there was a good 3 years, 86, 87, and 88, when Mattel was spending millions of dollars a year sending out crews all over the US and honestly internationally to replace carpets. Slime is fun. There's a lot of things we can do with it, but getting on the carpet in the 80s, not so much. And it cost Mattel a lot, but keeping this under the wraps and sort of as a secret promotion is what allowed them to at least maintain the bottom line. I hope you enjoyed this video and an interesting look at a promotion Mattel ran that never promoted, but cost them millions. Free carpet replacements from Mattel. Pretty cool. If you like this video, please do share it with others. It's the best way to support this channel. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to pick up a copy of Myth Wars on Amazon. Thanks.